St. Louis past 61 is slow. Southbound 170, bumper to bumper Page down to about the Parkway. Both directions of 170 around the Rock Road, Natural Bridge heavy, and northbound extends up to Airport Road. Westbound 64 west of Grand out through McCausland, but it's still bogged down. The Big Bend, Hanley area, McKnight, most of the way through Lindbergh, Clarkson to Topgolf, and west of K. Busy pockets all the way to 70. South 270 is on the brakes, Page to Olive. Both directions between Ladue and about Doherty Ferry are slow on 270 still. Westbound 44, heavy traffic from Grand to Kings Highway, from about Arsenal headed out through Laclede Station. Southbound 55, Arsenal down to Bates is bumper to bumper. Approaching Z to McNutt, just kind of busy down south. Eastbound 44, east of Jefferson onto the Poplar, it's kind of slow right now as well. Next update at 5:20 from the michaelsflooringoutlet.com traffic center.
Brought to you by Volley.
Volley.
Level up game night with Volley, the smart TV app for playing games like Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, or test your knowledge with fun music quizzes and party games. Turn your TV into the ultimate game hub with the Volley app on your Roku or Fire TV. Download it and play today.
Volley.
News, traffic, and the latest on the Redbirds. This is the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
All right, welcome into the Redbird Rush Hour here on 104.1 KMOX. Matt Pauley here. I'm Kevin Wheeler, and you can find us everywhere, man. We're live on 104.1 FM, 1120 AM, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you want to find us. If you're on the stream, hey, just waved at you. And feel free to throw in your comments while you're there, or questions, whatever you want. Opinion. They don't have to be one or the other. It can be opinions, can be questions, can be whatever you want. Obviously, a lot to talk about today, Matt, and we'll be building this into Sports Open Line, which will be coming up after the top of the hour news. But just finished a really good homestand, a 4-2 homestand against two good teams. The Astros are off to a middling start, but I think they're a good team. And obviously the Phillies are, in my book, one of the best teams in the National League. And come October, they're going to be in the postseason. And you beat some really good pitching. You beat Framber Valdez. You beat Zach Wheeler. You beat Aaron Nola. You had some days where the offense was good. And some days where it wasn't great. Like today, the offense wasn't great. No. It was good enough, because Lars Nootbaar hit a 3-run homer, and 3-run homers are awesome. But they're doing a good job in general of finding a way to win games at home anyway. We just got to get this level of play on the road.
Yeah. You mentioned the Nootbaar home run, but think about what leads up to that as well.
Oh, yeah.
Victor Scott II puts down kind of a little seemingly meaningless bunt single. And then
those are never meaningless, man. Bunt singles are awesome.
Thomas Sajaci just goes with a pitch and takes, he had the approach of trying to go to right field, and he hits it off the end of the bat, and it falls for a hit.
What a tough at bat, too, because he took some big daddy hacks on 93-mile-an-hour fastballs in, and he missed them, fouled him off, but then he hung tough.
Right.
Yeah.
And he eventually drops the hit. That's the bloop and the blast that we talk about so often. And Lars Nootbaar comes up and gets the big hit. So I love that inning. I those 3 at bats and the results of the 3 at bats and what leads to the results of the 3 at bats. That's part of why I love baseball. Like, I just love the way that inning plays out.
So again, big picture after just a couple of weeks, right? We're just talking about, 2 homestands and 1 road trip. This is all we've had so far. And I think what we've seen is what their path to victory is, and to what their path to winning games over the course of 6 months is. We haven't seen whether or not they can sustain it over a long period of time, but we've seen that they are an elite defensive team. Mm-hmm. Every measurement indicates that right now. They are one of the top 2 defenses in Major League Baseball to this point, and that doesn't feel like an outlier, right? I mean, you've got really good defenders all over the place. So they're probably going to stay near that most of the year, and because defense is usually pretty stable, it doesn't usually vary a whole lot. The offense has been mostly competitive. It's not always great, but they're a better offense than they've been, and I don't think they're going to be one of the best in the league, but I think they're going to be okay. I think the offense is going to be good,
right?
And
which is so much better than what they were last year,
right? So that brings this down to the difference maker being the pitching, the starting pitching first. Which will impact how good the bullpen is, right? Because when the bullpen can line up properly, it's been effective. Not every time, but more often than not. But it's not a coincidence that when the starting pitching's been good, they've been good, and when it wasn't good, they got smoked.
Yeah.
That's not a coincidence.
The team goes as starting pitching goes.
Yeah.
Is the way it normally works.
Yeah, and Matt's being good today is a very good sign, because one of the things you and I have talked about, because I'm going to hammer this, I'm going to pound this table every day while they're doing a 6-man rotation, just to say that if the pitchers are going deep enough, then the 6-man is fine for them for a lot of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Got some guys you're protecting on workload. You've got some guys that are in their mid to late 30s that you don't want to wear down. And as Ali Marmol pointed out yesterday, we talked about this yesterday, but for those that didn't hear it, as he pointed out yesterday, there isn't a whole lot of starting pitching help on the horizon in the short term, because Tink Hence is on the injured list. Quinn Matthews is on the injured list. Cooper Jerpy is on the injured list. Graceffo's been not great, but okay. But McGreevy's the one guy. Past McGreevy, you're really getting into slim pickings. So you need these guys to be healthy for the most part.
Yeah, it's a pretty normal thing for Major League Baseball teams to start 10, 11, 12, 13 guys in a year.
Yeah.
And I've said this a couple times in the last couple days. If that ends up being the case for the Cardinals this year, they're going to be in trouble.
Not unless like the Matthews thing is not a big deal and he'll be fine in a month or two. Like there are things that could lessen that blow, but you're totally right. If you're getting to that, we might be having some trouble.
But even if the Matthews thing is fine, then that takes you to 8 guys,
right,
with Matthews and McGreevy.
And then Graceffo would be 9.
But Graceffo's not a starter in the
I don't
big
think
leagues.
so either. And I don't think Tekoa Roby is either.
I don't either.
Yeah.
So you got 8 guys right now who I think you're comfortable starting major league games at some point this year. And other guys can perform up. There's other guys in the starting rotation at Memphis that can perform at a high level.
Bursa can give you a spot start. Yeah.
But I think there's 8 guys right now that you feel like, because Quinn Matthews right now can't give that to you. I think most people believe, especially if he gets healthy relatively quickly, he's going to be somebody who can make starts.
And we don't know what the situation is on the shoulder, except that he just doesn't have a determined start time.
The fact that his velo was so drastically reduced in his last appearance, and then he goes on the injured list. That's a little, and shoulders are tough. Shoulders can be really tough.
And as long as it's not a structural thing, he'll be okay.
Yeah.
Right. As long as it's more of like a muscle strain of some kind, that's something you can rehab and recover from and be okay in the short term, as long as it's not a rotator cuff or anything like that. And we don't know, so we're not going to guess at it. But the point is, they need these guys healthy. And I do get it. That's a big part of why you're using a 6-man, because now everybody gets an extra day of rest. But a part of that extra rest means you're probably going to need these guys to push it a little bit in starts when they're good.
Right.
So you might need to push some of these guys to 105, 110 pitches sometimes to get to 7 innings when they can, because they're not always going to pitch well enough for that. But when they do, you're probably going to have to push them so that you're not also scraping the bottom of the barrel for relievers, because we've already seen a little bit of cycling here, right? Roycroft went down for Munoz. Munoz has now gone down, and Swanson is up. We don't know what he is. But they might have to cycle through that. But there's only so much depth there too.
But I'm fine with always having a fresh arm up. I'm good with that.
Oh, totally.
And
but again, how good are they is the question.
Right. I don't know if this is what this conversation I agree with. I don't think it applies to Matt's today. I was very comfortable with
no. This was
easing him in.
Have to. He's not been starting. Yeah, 65 pitches was good. That's a good limit.
And he got to 71. He was supposed to get. They pitched him to 71 because of how well he was pitching,
because it was easy innings. He wasn't struggling.
Yeah, he retired the last 15 batters that he faced today. So, yeah, I thought there was a little consternation out there about when he came out. That was a good move to get him out then.
No, perfect. Yeah, they had to plan that. And again, next time out, maybe he goes 75, 80. And then after that, you can probably push it to 85, 90. And then you're in that range where you can be reasonably expected to go 6.
I think you push more than that. If he's at 71 right now, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. But at 85 next and then up to 100 to start after that.
Because he's also a guy that has had pretty consistent physical problems, you're not going to be like, okay, buddy, you've been pitching out of the pen for a couple weeks. Go throw 100 pitches.
Right.
Go throw 90 pitches. Like, that's not a sensible thing to do. But over time, when they're going well, like I loved that Sonny went out there a little extra because they were shutting him down a little bit before that. But you're going to need that. So when they pitch well, to push a little bit on those days so that you don't bury the bullpen. All right, so that's the pitching stuff. We're going to talk a little bit more about the rotation. I want to talk about Lars Nootbaar. We're going to talk about Thomas Saggese because he's done a great job so far. So a lot to do. It's Matt Pauley and Kevin Wheeler with you here on the Redbird Rush Hour on 104.1 KMOX.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, EMS is on the way to a new crash on eastbound 70. This traffic reports the service of Interpark Holdings. I can see it right now. It's in the left lane at Natural Bridge at the east terminal of the airport. Eastbound 70 is backed up at about Airflight. Westbound 70 jams approaching 170 through that area, taking a look at it. And eastbound 70 is still backed up through that 170 area as well. So tough traffic both ways, eastbound actually, more so than westbound right now. North 170, the Rock Road to Airport Road's heavy. South 170, north of Page all the way down to 64 slow. Westbound Highway 70, around the city limits, you've got heavy traffic. Out west, 79 to almost Bryan Road, it's backed up. Lake St. Louis through 61 in stretches. Westbound 64 from Grand all the way to McCausland, from Hanley all the way to 270, Clarkson to Topgolf, and then west to K all the way out to 70. A lot of backed up traffic in spots at least. South 270 bumper to bumper pockets. Page down through Ladue, both ways still heavy. Ladue to Doherty Ferry. Westbound 44 getting better, a little busy. Grand Kings Highway, Jameson out through Shrewsbury. Southbound 55 still a solid backup. Arsenal down to Bates, and eastbound 44 from Jefferson over to the Poplar still slow. Make game day parking easy with iParkit, with 2 convenient locations on Clark Avenue right next to the ballpark. Download the iParkit app and drive in and out using your license plate. Choose iParkit for convenience and peace of mind. I'm Roger Brand at the Michaels Flooring Outlet.com Traffic Center.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Listen up, Gen Xers. Elizabeth Banks here. The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the way. We've done this before. Music videos, fanny packs, even the World Wide Web. So let's do it again and get vaccinated. We're at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults under 50. Gen X, this is our shot. Visit vaxassist.com to schedule. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Once you do it, you'll ask yourself, why did we wait so long? I'm talking about making your outdoor space the place that you've always dreamed of. Whether you'd like it to be Party Central or your personal place of rest and relaxation, or a combination of the two, Chesterfield Fence and Deck can make that magic happen for you. So just give them a call or stop by their beautiful showroom and warehouse in the Chesterfield Valley, or online right now at chesterfieldfence.com. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best, because other places may offer you a rock bottom price, but you have to consider what kind of a value you're getting when that deck or fence starts splintering, cracking, the nails popping out just one season later. Chesterfield Fence and Deck guarantees their work. They have their own crews with years of experience installing these outdoor projects, and they stand behind everything they do. So it is a true value because it lasts for years to come and it'll look gorgeous. Mention me, Debbie Monterey, and get 20% off your next outdoor project, chesterfieldfence.com.
Farming's hard. To feed the world, farmers have to work the land, brave the elements, and fight the battle against weeds. Weeds reduce crop yields, so prices go up and everybody gets less to eat. But 50 years ago, farmers got a new tool to fight weeds, glyphosate. It kills weeds while protecting the harvest. Time and again, it has been approved by the EPA and by leading regulatory bodies around the world. It helps enable practices that reduce erosion and keep soil healthy, which is good for the earth. Farming's hard, but it's a little easier with glyphosate. Learn more at go.bayer.com/glyphosate. Paid for by Bayer.
Jack's going country with his new Nashville hot popcorn chicken combos starting at $6.99. Each bite bursting with that sweet down-home heat and the 100% all-white meat you love. Get that and so much more at Jack in the Box.
You're listening to the Redbird Rush Hour on 104.1 KMOX.
All right, Redbird Rush Hour on 104.1 KMOX. Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here. All right, Matt, let's start getting into some position player stuff, because these are things that they're related to what's happening now, but they impact the longer-term picture, right? Let's talk about Thomas DeJacy here, because, you know, he's been excellent since coming up. And it's super small sample size theater. We all know that. I mean, we know it's been a handful of games where he started, right?
He's not going to be hitting 455.
Right. We understand that. But you raised an interesting question on the postgame show today about how much of a job can he earn, and can he eventually, I'm paraphrasing here, so correct me if I don't get it right, but eventually could he be somebody that makes the need for Siani less obvious because of what he brings offensively and defensively from a versatility standpoint.
He should. I mean, offensively, he's a plus player, and you want to score runs. And I would argue that having Sajasi available to start at many different positions and also having his bat available whenever is more valuable than the 1 or 2 innings that you get defensively from Siani. And that's not, look, when Siani is in the outfield and you've got Scott and Siani out there, that's as good of a defensive outfield that basically exists in Major League Baseball. So this is not me being dismissive of Siani's
best in terms of catching the ball.
Yeah. Nothing to do with
You're taking your best throwing outfielder out of the outfield every single game right now.
That is true. Walker and Walker is getting better defensively
he's a plus.
Day.
He's a plus defender right now.
Yeah.
So at what point do we stop taking him out of games in the 8th and 9th inning when he's a plus defender?
It's like La Russa used to do that with David Freese at third base, and it bugged the living out of him.
But what makes me concerned about it is you're doing it in these close games. So let's say a pitcher has a bad day and gives up a 2-run bomb. It has nothing to do with your defense, but now you're a tie game going into extra innings, and you don't have a guy that's a real bat versus a guy that is your defensive closer.
Yeah. So
I did say that with sarcasm.
I know.
I don't think that's. I think that's nonsense.
I think it's nonsense as well. It's a nice luxury to have if the roster fits it.
If you're a 95 win team heading to the playoffs, fine.
Right.
But you're not.
No. You're not that.
You have to have more useful parts on your roster.
Look, and to be correct, I don't know who said it on social media. This wasn't an original thought by me, but it's something that I saw and I tend to agree with. Just the idea that if Sajasi's path and future with the Cardinals probably isn't as an everyday single position guy. There's just not that with JJ Weatherholt's gonna be here before you know it. Mason Wynn's got shortstop locked down. So if he's gonna be a guy who jumps around and everything, does he really need to be getting those everyday at bats at AAA and having a position every day, or is there value to having him on the Major League roster and filling that role now? And I think it's a conversation worth having.
Yeah, we're gonna have it next time. I'm gonna fight with you about it.
Okay.
So Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here on 104.1 KMOX. Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler for Supplement Superstores. And look, I've been a customer of theirs since 2013, and there's a reason for that. Supplement Superstores is the best. They are always on the cutting edge of science, so when they find better products, that's what they work with. And they also have the best people. All of the employees at Supplement Superstores are certified sports nutrition specialists and personal trainers. So they'll work with you to build a simple eating plan and workout routine that fit your goals. And by the way, they do that for free. So to find your Supplement Superstores location and get started down your path to success, go to supplementsuperstores.com.
Help keep our community safe and healthy during National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, April 26th. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent drug misuse before it starts.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
When you're trying to find quality candidates, all the searching, screening, and interviewing can become a job itself. You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, the emergency crews are on the scene now dealing with this crash. Eastbound 70 at Natural Bridge. Right lane is, the left lane is blocked. The right lanes are open. Eastbound 70 is backed up on the west side of the airport. Westbound is a little slow coming through there. It's also slow Kings Highway out through Jennings Station. There's a backup. There's a crash just west of the Rock Road, so it's backed up at Lindbergh. There's a rescue crash reported north 270 and the 70 exit lanes around the McKelvey overpass. Traffic slowing back near Dorset right now because of that one. South 270, you have stop-and-go pockets from Page all the way down to 64. 54. It remains slow down through Manchester, and then south of Gravois, most of the way down to 55. South 170 bogs down at Olive, westbound 64. Still heavy pockets from Grand out to McCausland, from Hanley through Clayton Warson, Lindbergh out to Spady, and in St. Charles County, west of K, most of the way out to 70 is pretty slow right now. Westbound 44, a little busy at Kings Highway, right through Shrewsbury-Laclede Station. Southbound 55, Gravois down through Bates is bumper to bumper, and eastbound 44 still slow, Lafayette over to the Poplar. I'm Roger Brand at the Michaels Flooring Outlet.com Traffic Center.
At 5:30, this news update sponsored by Michaels Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. 70 degrees downtown at the Arch. The report 2 weeks ago that the Food and Drug Administration was planning for fewer inspections because of layoffs. Now, those inspections will end altogether, as CBS News correspondent Matt Piper tells us.
CBS News has learned that FDA officials have been asked to lay out a plan to end routine food safety inspections. It comes after 10,000 workers were let go last month, ordered by HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Inspectors would go to manufacturing facilities to ensure compliance and safety with FDA regulations to maintain food safety and public health. Now, most of the federal government's oversight will be outsourced to local and state authorities.
It is unclear what could happen to the agency's rank and file inspectors, most of whom focus on food safety. If the Kansas City Chiefs leave Missouri, could St. Louis
All right, Redbird Rush Hour here on 104.1 KMOX. Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here. All right, I wouldn't say this won't be a big fight, but I think a little minor fight here on this JC thing about whether or not he should head back to Memphis if he's not going to be a regular player. Right. And to me, I would say if he's not going to play 4 or 5 games a week, I don't think he should be sitting here to play twice a week. And here's part of it. I'll explain 2 parts of it to me. One is clearly he is a real prospect. Even if he ends up being a multi-position guy, he's a guy that can be an everyday player. He's a guy that can be an everyday player. And I think that's important to encourage that. That's important to nurture that and let him get the everyday experience of defensive positions and playing. But also, they already can't even get Gorman in the lineup. So we're going to add another guy that needs to play? Like, that's the problem to me is, and I wanted to bring up Gorman today. Like, what's this guy got to do to get in the lineup?
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's not like Burleson's tearing the cover off the ball, but no. I mean, so you have Gorman who can't even get in the lineup. I don't know that we can have another guy that needs to be a regular player, if not every day, but a regular player.
Yeah. So, like, Burleson's probably the guy that should be getting less at bats for Gorman. I'm with you on that. I'm the leader of the pack when it comes to young prospects need to get everyday opportunities in the minor leagues before they sit on the bench at the big league level. Like that's something that I almost always believe in. But on this one where Sajasi is producing at a high level and his long-term role with the team probably is some sort of utility multi-positional type thing, I have a real hard time sending him down just because you still want to keep him getting those.
Right, but he's producing because he's playing. If he's not going to play, he's not going to produce. I mean, if we can't even get Gorman in, so now there's one guy that needs to come out now at some point to get Gorman at bats on a given day. Right. Doesn't have to be the same guy. Well, then we need 2.
I'm not disagreeing with you. And I can't even argue this with you because I agree with everything you're saying, which is, you know me, Kev, like I'm pretty good at arguing. I agree with everything you're saying, but I don't want to see them send Sajasi down, and I'm not overly worried about the whole everyday thing for some reason with him.
I am, because he's going to play once a week if he's in that circumstance.
I think they would give him a little bit more than that.
Unless you're sending Baker down and he's going to take the Baker at bats against lefties.
Which you can't do that.
Well, okay, but then there's literally nowhere to play him.
I know.
Unless there's an injury, which is why he's so valuable now. And here's the other argument for the everyday at bats in the minor leagues. If there is a longer-term injury with Mason Wynn, you're going to need an everyday shortstop. Him getting those reps at AAA will help him help you more in the event that happens.
And by the way, Donovan's looked fine at shortstop.
He's all right.
Yeah. Like
the arm's not going to be great for the long term.
No, he's not a guy who can be there every day, but the Cardinals should have embraced, when the season got started, they should have embraced Donovan as being the every once in a while shortstop and not gone with there's no plan B. Mason Wynn's going to play shortstop every single day thing.
Yeah. Well, you can't be that everyday guy if you're going to have your back barking.
Right. There's nothing wrong with giving Brendan Donovan a start at shortstop every 2 weeks.
No, I think that's true. I think in fact, it would be wise, because I'm a big Mason Wynn fan, to make sure that he's going to stay healthy too.
Yeah.
Maybe he's a guy that needs a day off once a week.
If you're going to work so hard to keep starting pitching healthy because you have no depth at starting pitching.
Great point.
Well, then you should work just as hard to keep your no depth position at shortstop healthy.
Matt, I award 50,000 points. That is a great point. Like if you're looking at, because the logic as expressed by the manager, by Ollie Marmol, and I think we all agree it's very logical. You don't have a lot of starting pitching depth that you can trust right now. So you want to protect the guys you have. Wonderful. I agree. Well, you have one shortstop. And if you're going to run him into the ground, you might have none.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good point. And I'm surprised that hasn't really come up. Like maybe we need to manage his workload a little bit instead of saying go play 155 games.
Well, if he's going to go on the injured list with back spasms, I hope when he comes off the list, they do think through that. And that's another reason to also have Sajasi around.
And also, he might have been why he finished poorly last year.
Perhaps.
Might have been out of gas.
Yeah.
All right, that's Matt Pauley. I'm Kevin Wheeler. We got more baseball coming your way in a couple minutes here on the Redbird Rush Hour on 104.1 KMOX.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, we got a few crashes working out there right now. There's traffic reports of service at Glory Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty. Still got the crash eastbound 70 at Natural Bridge. Left lane is closed. Traffic's jammed back almost to Lindbergh. Westbound 70, slow pass there from 170, and then it jams westbound 70 approaching Cypress out through the Rock Road. There's a crash just west of the Rock Road with the lane blockage. A rescue crash north 270, south of 70. The right lane's backed up through Dorset because of that one as well. Westbound 70 in St. Charles County, just kind of busy from A through 61, so it's not bad there. South 270 still pretty busy from Page down to Ladue, slow through Manchester, and then Gravois most of the way down to 55. South 170 bogs down at Delmar. Westbound 64 west of Grand out through McCausland's backed up, and then the heaviest stuff is still St. Charles County approaching Winghaven, slow out to Highway 70. Westbound 44 a little busy past 141. Southbound 55 south of Arsenal to Bates is backed up as well. Planning to sell your home? Work with the very best. Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty will guarantee to sell your home at your price, or she will buy it. Visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. I'm Roger Brand at the Michaels Flooring Outlet.com Traffic Center.
You're listening to the Redbird Rush Hour on 104.1 KMOX.
All right, popping right back into it. Redbird Rush Hour on 104.1 KMOX. Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here. All right, let's continue on with the position player stuff. So we've hit on Gorman and where they're going to – they got to get him in more. I mean, he's been back for, since Saturday, so he's been back for 5 days. He's started twice. I mean, I think you got to find more at-bats for him.
And you're not going to send him on a rehab either.
Right.
Get him going.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm look, I don't like to pick on Alec Burleson because I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's doing so much right now that you can't take him out of the lineup.
No, I would agree.
He's making a lot of soft contact. You know, his hit today is an infield hit because he chased a pitch that was low and out of the zone away. And he tapped it to third and happened to beat it by half a step.
But he got a stolen base. He's had stolen base in 2 straight games.
And he actually made a really nice defensive play today, too.
Yeah.
That's why I said I don't like picking on him. But at some point, you got to find consistent at-bats for Gorman, or we're not going to know anything more about him than we do. And he's not going to get better without opportunities. So we've covered that. We covered this JC thing. I want to spend a second on Donovan and Newt, okay? Starting with Donovan. This is just a Brendan Donovan appreciation segment. This guy is so good.
So good.
He can handle short. He's a high-end second baseman. He's a plus left fielder. You can play him at first. You can play him at third. You could play him in right. The only place you don't want to play him is center field, aside from catching. But he's probably your emergency catcher because he's that kind of versatile. And he's just such a solid hitter.
Did you hear him talking about bat speed today?
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting, where he said, he trains for bat speed, but sometimes he doesn't utilize it because it also leads to swing and miss.
Well, I mean, look, there's more than one element to hitting, right? And Luis Arraez shows us this. His bat speed stinks. But there's also the frequency of contact,
right,
and your ability to hit the ball on the barrel, where you might not hit it 97 miles an hour where it's going to go over the fence or it's going to get into a gap, but you can get more consistent above average contact that can lead to hits. And I think the way Donovan explains it is the best way to look at it. It's situational for a guy like him, because he's not a home run hitter. He's got some power, but he's not a home run hitter. It's a little different game for, say, Aaron Judge, right? He's a home run hitter. He's going to be swinging harder more often because that's what he's paid to do. But Donovan knows his job, and that's kind of what I really wanted to appreciate. He knows what his skill set is, and he plays to the max of that. He's an on-base guy who can put the ball in play, who does not strike out a lot, and he can literally play anywhere, and he's happy to play anywhere. And where he plays doesn't impact how he hits.
He is such a valuable player, leading the league in hitting at 380. You look at all of his numbers, 416 on base, 549 slug. That means this guy's got 965 OPS, which is super elite. And it's not going to stay there, obviously. But that the entire skill set of what he is doing right now, this is an all-star caliber, difference-making kind of player.
Yeah, he's not your traditional guy. Right? He's not your 25, 30 homer guy, but he is super valuable, and his on-base skill is elite, right? I mean, you're talking about a guy who career on-base percentage is 366. That's
that
elite.
Plays.
Yeah, that's elite. And he's, for his career, 20% above league average, which is really good. There's nothing to sneeze at there. That's really good. And I didn't look it up. I'm going to look this up while I'm doing it. I'll bet you that's not too far off of Nolan Arenado's career as far as like adjusted OPS. Yeah, Nolan Arenado is 21% better than league average as a hitter for his career. Obviously, he's top 1 percentile defensively.
Sure.
And then Donovan is 19% better than average. So that's my point. They get there different ways, right? Nolan has all those years in Colorado with 30 home runs and all of that. They're different guys, but they're basically the same level above average as hitters for their careers.
Yeah.
And that is how good he is.
And Nolan Arenado was a legit MVP candidate multiple times in his career, including 2 years ago when Goldschmidt won it.
Right. And then I also want to just tune this back to Lars Nootbaar for a minute or two as well. There's just the question. We've talked about it all offseason. The only question with Lars Nootbaar is how many games can you get out of him? If this guy plays 130 games, he's a stud.
What he's doing right now.
He's not just a good player. He's a stud if he can play that much.
What he's doing right now from an on-base percentage standpoint is 422 on base. He is drawing walks. He's forcing lots of pitches. When he gets an opportunity to drive a ball, he's creating damage. He's got doubles. He's got home runs. I was pro Brendan Donovan at the top of the lineup before the season got started.
I'd still be happy with him up there too.
I'd be fine with it, but as I've watched Lars Nootbaar work out at the leadoff spot, I love it so much. It's great.
I mean, he does. Again, people get mad because they don't like the terminology for the StatCast stuff. They don't like exit velo, even though every hitting coach in the history of baseball has talked about hitting the ball hard.
Yeah, hit the ball hard.
I think that's what that is. It's just showing us how hard. That's all it is. But he doesn't chase out of the zone. He doesn't miss in the zone. Typically, when he swings at something in the zone, he hits it.
Mm-hmm.
And he hits it hard. He doesn't strike out a lot. He walks a lot. Like, he literally does all of those things. Now, again, he's got to stay on the field, though. And we don't know what the future holds in that regard. We don't know if he's got an injured list stint or anything along those lines. But he's also, by the way, a plus defender. Like, not elite, not Gold Glove, but he's a plus defender. This guy's really good. And I don't think we've seen the best of him as a Cardinal. I think he's got better than what we've seen from him. Now, this year, we're seeing what I hope we will see for the whole year with the production. The 800-plus OPS. I think he's a guy that can hit 25 homers and obviously just great on-base skill.
Mm-hmm.
Big fan. I think that these are players are they're not your stars, right? Those aren't the rock stars. You need somebody else to be stars, but you need players like this if you're going to be a playoff team.
100%. And this group, top to bottom, has a lot of really interesting dudes.
Yeah.
And he's one of them.
Absolutely. All right. We got one more thing we're going to hit on, and we're going to talk about an Athletic piece that came out that said the Dodgers are the smartest front office in baseball, and I think that is idiotic. We're going to get into that coming up next on the Redbird Rush Hour here on 104.1 KMOX.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder or
I don't understand it. The Athletic did a poll of people in front offices in Major League Baseball, and they overwhelmingly chose the Dodgers as the smartest franchise in baseball, and I don't understand what they're all smoking. Now, don't get me wrong. I want to say the Dodgers are a smart franchise. Andrew Friedman is a really smart guy. They are intelligent. But how is it smart that you could afford to give $700 million to Shohei Ohtani, or that you could trade for Mookie Betts because you had the money to eat David Price's contract, which was the Red Sox criteria for trading you Mookie Betts, was you had to take that contract? Are you genius for going out and signing a free agent like Freddie Freeman, who's a Hall of Fame track guy? Are you a genius for accepting Roki Sasaki to sign for you for the minimum? Are you a genius for paying Yoshinobu Yamamoto or Blake Snell or Tyler Glasnow or signing an entire bullpen of free agents? I mean, I think Tampa's way smarter. I think Cleveland's way smarter because they're doing so much without the ability to just go buy 10 of the best players in the world.
Yeah, so I think the Dodgers brain trust, I think the world of Andrew Friedman. I think if he was in a position where he didn't have the money.
Well, he did it in Tampa.
Exactly. He could be doing the exact same thing that you mentioned in Cleveland and Tampa and Milwaukee and wherever. So they may be the smartest group. There's a very good chance they're the smartest group. I think they just because you spend money doesn't mean you're going to win. We saw the Mets spend tons and tons of money and not win, and now they've got a baseball adult in the room in David Stearns, and they're spending money and it's working for them. So it's hard for me to say that you don't really know. To your point, you're right. It is more impressive what some of these other teams are doing with less money that make it seem smarter. But I don't want to be like dismissive of the Dodgers because I think they've got smart people there.
I am going to be a little dismissive. What have they done to show us how smart they are? Where's the evidence that the Dodgers' success is about intelligence and not about your checkbook?
And I think the point we talked in the break, your point that you're getting to is that they don't produce a lot of big league talent.
I mean, they've got 2 regular players in their lineup that are Dodgers prospects that were developed. They've got a couple of fringe pitchers that jump in and out of the rotation like Landon Knack and guys like that. But literally every significant contributor is either a trade or a free agent. And the trades they got were guys like Betts, who they ate money to get because nobody else would eat David Price's $60 million to get the MVP hitter.
They get to do it the easy way because they've got the money that they have.
But this is kind of my point. Why? I mean, I think they're smart. I mean, Friedman showed us that. He proved that in Tampa.
Right.
But that's not what he's doing now. There is no evidence that the Dodgers are where they are because of intelligence. They're where they are for 2 reasons. They have a lot of money and they're aggressive. And by the way, they deserve credit for being aggressive.
And to go along with it, I mean, players obviously want to go there.
Because they're good.
Yeah, it gives you a chance to go.
And you're going to get paid. Yeah.
Right. You're going to get paid, and it gives you a really good chance of winning a World Series.
I mean, I feel like a lot of times there's groupthink in professional sports. And to me, this is an example of it. Every front office guy in the world would love to be in the Dodgers situation. And look, I know they all know each other, so they know Friedman's really smart. And we know that too. But that is not why the Dodgers are what they are. They literally have purchased an all-star team.
Yeah.
That's why they're the Dodgers. If they were doing this because of smarts, we'd have a lot more like low-key moves. We'd have a lot more Dodgers prospects playing full-time. Right?
Sure.
Okay.
Look, we're saying the same thing here. Like, I understand the like righteous indignation over this, but there's clearly teams in baseball who have less resources than the Dodgers who do more with it. So we should be giving more credit to them. But I guess I just don't want to ding the Dodgers.
Yeah, I'll ding them a little bit, but it's not their fault. I would do what they're doing.
Right.
If I were them, I would do the same thing.
I have a hard, I think you're passionate about this. I have a hard time getting up about
I think
this.
it's stupidity to say that what they are is because of brains. They're not. It's because of money.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Right now, yeah.
Everybody would go, yes, give me Mookie Betts and Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, if you've got that money, go spend it. I'm not going to get mad at them for it.
You're the best, Matt. Have a fun show tonight.
Thanks.
Sports Open Line coming up next on KMOX.
Hi, I'm Rob. As a farmer in Illinois, I am proud to use high-quality biodiesel blends made from soybeans in my vehicles and farm equipment.